Hey, welcome to Mikey's Video Game Madness. Today we're playing Uncharted Drake's Fortune, the first Uncharted game in the series. This was requested by James Williams. I put a link to his channel, but unfortunately he hasn't posted videos. So if you're watching this, you should definitely start posting videos. That way I get to know my subscribers a little bit more, and we can make the whole community aspect more realistic, because honestly it's sort of dying here with all these bigger channels. But you know what, I appreciate him taking the time and requesting this video, and I always appreciate his comments and requests just as I do yours. Like I said, I don't remember what video that I said it in. I'm getting old. I'm getting on with age. I'm 31 as this recording. I almost need a cane. But yeah, I said that if there's a popular PlayStation 3 or 4 game, there's a good chance that I might have it. As far as a version of it, I might have it on the 360. I don't have as many Xbox 360 exclusive, but I have like the popular ones like Halo, and I might have it on a different system with PC, because there's been moments where I didn't have an Xbox 360 and then I obtained one, and then didn't have one and I obtained one again, as I kind of, once I got a PlayStation 3, I've always had one, and the PlayStation 4 is fairly still new, so you know, of course I haven't given away that yet, but I don't foresee me. I didn't really want to give away my Xbox 360 at the time it was to get the newest PlayStation 4, because that E3 that they advertised it, even though half of those games weren't coming out, you know, I bought into the publicity and all that stuff, which is fine because I absolutely love my PlayStation 4, but it was at the cost of my Xbox 360 library, unfortunately, which I'm rebuilding again. So yeah, if there's a popular game, and you can just try to see if I have it by requesting it, and I'll tell you if I have it or not, or if I have it on a different system. I mean, it doesn't hurt to ask, you know. I won't look down on you for asking to see if I have a game, to see if I'll make a video of it, just like he did, and I luckily had it. He asked me to do the originals, but he didn't say specifically what system, so I did the PlayStation 4. Sorry if you're watching this, James Williams, and I'm talking about you like you're not listening. I'm just trying to cater to a whole audience here, but I chose the PlayStation 4 version, even though I have the PlayStation 3 versions, because it looks nicer and it's in 1080p. So if I'm gonna display a version, I'll display the best one. Unless you guys want me to do the PlayStation 3 versions, I'll be more than happy to do that, but for right now I think this is fine. The PlayStation 4 versions don't have any of the online play, although the first Uncharted game didn't really have it anyway, so it doesn't matter. There's some subtle differences in the PlayStation 3 Uncharted game versus this one, and it's with the controls and stuff like that. And it's one of those things where if somebody asked me how it was different, it's the same thing as me trying to explain to you what sex feels like if you've never had it before. It's just really awkward, and it makes us both very uncomfortable because I don't know if I'm going to say the right thing. It's just one of those things that you kind of have to feel in the controller. The PlayStation 4 version does run at 60 frames per second. I don't know if that's going to be a deal breaker for you if you're used to the PlayStation 3 version. Sorry, I'm pausing here, but I'm really trying to think of interesting things to say while I'm still talking about the other thing. So yeah, I'm all over the place, but if you're used to watching my channel, I mean, that really should be something you should be looking forward to by now, honestly. But yeah, this runs at 60 frames per second. I don't think it necessarily improves the gameplay visually. Of course, it looks smoother, but as far as gameplay goes, I think it just feels different, but not necessarily better. Now, this game has been tweaked, especially this first game, to match the way the second and third game feel. I think they kind of combined all the games. I don't know which one they cater to mostly in the way, because each game has a unique, subtle difference to the way that it plays, and I couldn't tell you which one that they borrowed the most from, but they created a uniform system. I can't explain to you why or how, because I haven't played the original Uncharted in a long time when I played this one, but I did feel like due to the refinements, the game played and controlled a little bit smoother and easier. Obviously the textures are upgraded and it looks nice, but this is one of those cases where 60 frames per second does look really nice. I don't know if it necessarily improves gameplay. It just feels different, just like The Last of Us. Even though there was a 30 frames per second V-sync on it. Sorry, I couldn't think of the right term, where it capped the game at 30 frames per second so you could see what the original was like. I don't think that the original was like always at 30 frames per second, so it kind of looked weird on PlayStation 4. I don't think that was an accurate representation of the PlayStation 3 version, unless I'm just looking at the PlayStation 3 version through rose-colored glasses. And the only reason why I bring up The Last of Us is because that was also a Naughty Dog game that was remastered. Naughty Dog actually remastered The Last of Us. Blue Point Games or Studios or whatever they try to call themselves did the remaster of this. They're actually pretty good at remastered. They did I believe the Ratchet and Clank on PlayStation 3 remastered, which I really liked. I actually did a video of that. Of course I didn't record it right, and I had that cropped issue going on that I've now resolved, so going in the future, hopefully, fingers crossed, all PlayStation 3 videos will look professional for me. Notice I said for me. I didn't stop at professional, but it'll look nice for my channel. But yeah, unfortunately, I blew up the picture and it doesn't look as nice. I almost want to go back and re-record that game. But when I played that game, that was such a nice remastered. It made me feel like the way the PlayStation 2 game felt when I first played it, because now you go back and play these PlayStation 2 games and they don't look as good as you remember. It, like, these remasters kind of add back the rose-colored glasses. Now, why don't I actually talk about the game a bit? James also asked me what I thought about the Unreal, not Unreal, well, it was sort of Unreal because it looks amazing, the Uncharted 4 trailer, Thief's End, and it looks amazing. I don't know why Naughty Dog decided to use art from Assassin's Creed 4, considering they probably have massive amounts of files of artwork they could hang up on the wall, unless they were doing it as a nod to Ubisoft, or Ubisoft, I don't know which is the right way to say it. I've heard people say it two different ways. Sorry if I sound ignorant to that. This game's waiting to tell me how to do something, even though I know the right button press is the touch screen on here, but now I'm second guessing myself and pushing other buttons. Now it tells me and now it works. So that's why it looked weird, like I was trying to run around and push all these different buttons. Because I was second guessing myself. I pushed the right thing the first time, but it was one of those things where it waited to tell you the button prompt before it let the button prompt actually work. So, despite this being a remastered, actually seeing the PlayStation 3 footage of all three games, this one definitely looks like an upgrade, but not by much. All these games looked really good on the PlayStation 3, and I can't believe that these games were on the PlayStation 3. Most of the time when you get an Xbox 360 port, it always looked better than the PlayStation 3 most of the time. So I don't know why I said always. It usually looked better than the PlayStation 3 port. But these Uncharted games, man, or woman, depending on who's watching this, these look like they came out maybe not from like something as powerful as like the PlayStation 4 or Xbox One. But these games didn't look like they were coming off of the PlayStation 3. If you were used to playing multi-platform games, like, you might think that the Xbox 360 was more powerful than the PlayStation 3 if you were judging from multi-plats. But, like, when you saw a PlayStation 3 exclusive game, I mean, it looked way better than anything I saw on the Xbox 360. That's not me knocking the Xbox 360 because I think it's a great system. I'm just saying that when people really programmed for the PlayStation 3, it looked like something from a different system. It didn't look like anything from the PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360 generation and or 7th gen if you want to be technical. So, yeah, like, these games, actually, if you don't have a PlayStation 4, I highly suggest you play the originals, because they look not quite as good as this, but they hold their own, for sure. And they run pretty well, too. I believe Uncharted 4 is actually going to run at 30 frames per second, not 60. And when Rise of the Tomb Raider comes out on PlayStation 4, I have a feeling that's going to run at 30 frames. I'm not sure, but I have a good feeling that, judging from all the graphical things that they added extra in Rise of the Tomb Raider, based on what I've seen from the Xbox One version, I would not be surprised that it would run at 30 frames per second, which is kind of a bummer because you played the original Tomb Raider reboot game, or whatever you want to call it, the definitive edition that ran on 60 frames per second on PlayStation 4. So it's kind of weird to go to a sequel and have like some downgrades, but the graphical stuff will be upgraded. I don't know. It's gonna probably feel different than the Tomb Raider definitive edition on PlayStation 4. Because since Microsoft published the original game, and even though it's still a great game, I'm sure I played the Xbox 360 version. I can't tell you how good or bad the PC and Xbox One versions are, but I'm sure they're just as good, if not better. They obviously look better, but I think that Tomb Raider, by the time it comes out on PlayStation 4, won't necessarily be irrelevant, but it's not going to be on people's minds. I have a feeling it's going to be one of those things that just kind of gets slipped under the door, released, and because it's been out for so long, it's just going to be one of those things that, oh, wow, that game's out, I really want to play it, I didn't get to play it because I had a PlayStation 4 type of deal. It's not going to be like on a lot of people's lists. I think Uncharted 4 is going to be the relevant game that's probably gonna be in that genre, and I'm just guessing, the game's not even out yet, but I can't picture Naughty Dog fucking something up beside using Ubisoft's artwork from Assassin's Creed 4. I mean, what the fuck? And if it was a joke, I don't think they would apologize, which they did later. So anyway, if you're not familiar with this game or the Tomb Raider games, basically this took Tomb Raider, the original Tomb Raider games, although I think the Crystal Dynamics ones were actually quite nice. They're not as good as the I guess Crystal Dynamics made the new one too. Before they rebooted it, it was I can't even remember. There was like 3 Tomb Raiders. There was like Tomb Raider Anniversary, and then 2 other games, which I can't think of the titles of them, but the 3 Tomb Raider games that came out on the 360 and PlayStation 3, which you can actually get you actually can get a disc on the PlayStation 3 that has all 3 of those games on it. So yeah, if you haven't played them, I definitely would recommend you getting that trilogy disc or whatever the heck it's called. I think it's called the Tomb Raider Collection. But yeah, I think those games were great, but the Tomb Raider reboot and the definitive editions of that reboot and the PC version, of course, were excellent and borrowed a lot from this game. This game borrowed a lot from the Crystal Dynamics and the original IDOS games that came out and took that genre to the next level. And now I feel like Uncharted, the new one that's coming out, is kind of borrowing stuff from the new Tomb Raider games. Like, I saw Nathan Drake using like a stake or something to climb on rocky walls and stuff like that. That's straight out of like Tomb Raider, except she uses an ice pick. Was it an ice pick or pickaxe? I think it's a pickaxe. An ice pick. That's that little screwdriver looking thing that back in the day when you get a block of ice, you would actually try to chisel out ice cubes. I know this because my grandmother's drawer used to be filled with all sorts of antique things that were probably older than she was. But yeah, such a great game, and really the evolution of this genre. I kind of didn't really. Maybe the first Tomb Raider was okay, but then the games got convoluted. I know people that loved them. I've had friends during the PlayStation 1 era that would live and die by the Tomb Raider games, and yeah, I think one of them was called Tomb Raider Legends. I think that was the first one that came out. Then there was Tomb Raider Anniversary, and then I'm trying to think of the other Tomb Raider game. I just don't want to be wrong on this. It was called Tomb Raider Underworld. Sorry, I'm being disrespectful and looking at my smartphone, but I knew if I didn't. I love these Indiana Jones running moments. Uncharted has so much more of these, like in the sequels, which I will cover, by the way, so don't worry. Unless you guys want me to cover the older PlayStation 3 versions, I'm going to continue to cover this, but I look forward to Uncharted 4. It looks awesome. The character models are amazing. The set pieces has a lot of those like Indiana Jones action moments, and I can't wait. I can't say enough good things about it. I'm recording this extremely late, by the way, so if I seem sort of out of it, that's why. But I always say some sort of, if I seem sort of out of it, I'm always trying to justify my lackluster commentary, although I get the feeling some of you enjoy my commentary regardless. Maybe I'm just being too hard on myself. Every once in a while I'll get that shitty message, I guess, and take it to heart. Now, all you trolls out there, I'm sure that was fuel for you, so I guess bring it. I don't know. I don't know you in person, so you're not gonna like break my heart or anything. You might cause like a quick little tear or whatever, but you know, it's whatever. So I didn't know how to finish that, honestly. But yeah, this game looks great. The character models in this particular version versus the original Uncharted have been updated with the newer Nathan Drake and Sully, and probably like Uncharted, I guess 3 or 2. I don't know the game that well. I know that the game was like upgraded to have like uniformed like character models and stuff like that, unless they were like wearing a different outfit or whatever. So I imagine they used the best or most detailed version out of each game. So I don't know. I know Nathan Drake does look somewhat different than he did in the original Uncharted, and the textures have obviously been touched up a little bit. Every once in a while you'll find like an area that looks like I thought there was a puzzle here, so I started climbing stuff. You'll find an area where the textures aren't good, but this game is so fluid. Nolan North does an amazing job as Nathan Drake. I always kind of felt like he was saying kind of what you kind of would say out loud while you were playing, like almost breaking the fourth wall, but not. I just think this is a fantastic game. I wish that Crystal Dynamics or Naughty Dog would somehow get the Indiana Jones license and was allowed to make an Indiana Jones game, because I think they would just knock it in the park. Alright, that's all I have to say for Uncharted 1. This is a fantastic game. I definitely suggest you either get the PlayStation 3 versions or get the collection. I'll talk to you on Uncharted 2. There's so much I want to say about this series. Actually, not really. That's why I'm trying to save it all for Uncharted 2. It just speaks for itself. Go ahead and play it. Trust me. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I appreciate it. And I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.
If you want to, like, comment, and subscribe! Thanks for watching!